Rich, men are undermarketed to when it comes to medicine. And I had a guy sit right here the other day and say, he literally said, I want to have major changes in my health, but I don't want to have to change how I live. And you said, I can't believe that came out of his mouth. Yet, you and I are at a point in your incredible health turnaround that we can be honest enough with each other and say, looking back, if you really think about it and you look back at your journey when you started, there was a little bit of that guy in you too.
There definitely was.
So there's this inner resistance to men making change. And part of it is the system's fault. We haven't done a great job of really meeting men where they're at. We've done a really bad job in terms of giving guys bad news without giving them tactics and strategies to actually go be better. And I think that we've expected the tempo of recovery or change for men to be too rapid. So consequently, both on the side of the male patients and in the system, we've created an atmosphere where guys tend to not go to the doctor until something is broken. They have an event of some kind, and you're going to talk about your event in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
When they do go, they don't really listen because they don't want, men are horrible about getting shamed, right? We really struggle with too easily feeling shamed. And then men live a higher risk lifestyle typically. So Rich, you walk in today, you're 15 pounds lighter, and I'm like, buddy, you look amazing. And you go, well, I feel great too. How did you get there? And then what was the turning point for you getting over that, your own inner resistant guy who was saying, I don't really have to make the kind of changes you were telling me, Dr. Miller. Share a little bit about the key turning points for you.
Well, okay, not to be long-winded, but it could be. First of all, I'm one to, if I have a sore elbow, I fix it right away. I go to PT. I'm willing to put in a little time because I'm active. I want to keep doing everything I want to do. When I got involved with you, I came in 15 pounds heavier, but I wouldn't have thought I had extra weight to lose. I wasn't fat. On the BMI index, I was high, but I didn't look at myself as needing to lose weight. And you and I went on a program, and I thought I could exercise my way out of it, and I half listened to you. And after a year of spending time with you and half listening and thinking I had this beat on my own, I had 2 blood pressure episodes that put me in the hospital, and those cost me more than the money I was spending with you. So that was eye-opening.
What do you mean blood pressure episodes?
I'm talking 200 over 110 in the middle of the night, and whoever I call is going to say, you have to go in. And I go in, emergency, I spend all that money only to walk out a few hours later because it settled down on its own.
Yeah.
And then that was the point at which I realized, okay, I need to do something about this. I'm socially drinking 3 to 4 nights a week, having a great time with my friends. This is what you do. And
especially in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, you've got COVID going on. Fortunately, I didn't add any weight there, but that was eye-opening. That okay, I need to make some changes. And so.
But what did you feel that night? Because I'll never forget the weekend where you pinged me. But how did you feel with blood pressures of 200 over 110 and this is called hypertensive emergency.
Yeah, it wasn't just the blood pressure 200 over 110. It was the combination of having a family member who's already had a heart attack, namely a twin brother, and now I'm right behind him.
Yeah,
and he had his 3 years ago, and I don't want to be right behind him. So that's
so you were feeling anxiety also.
Yeah, high anxiety.
But what did you feel here? Did you
tightness, standard? There's no way to clearly describe it, but tightness all over, anxiety. What am I going to do? And I must have masked a lot of that with social alcohol use. And so it was the end of the year, November, December, and so my wife and I decided to go on a Whole30 diet, and I thought it was a diet. And lo and behold, you don't drink on Whole30. And so this was the opportunity.
You mean alcohol isn't a whole food?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
So that was the opportunity to test. Okay, let's see what role alcohol plays in this. And 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and I made it 35, 36 days, and 3 additional months since then, and I've never felt better.
Okay, let me take you back for a second. When we first met, what were some of the things that I told you probably need to do that you were resisting doing?
Well, alcohol was at the top of the list. I already worked out plenty. I had to reduce cortisol and stress. I had to sleep better. Those are the three main things. So I do measure sleep. I measure blood pressure, and getting rid of the alcohol for those days, I've never seen blood pressure lower. No medication. I'm probably in the best shape I've been in.
Yeah.
Everything just feels good.
Yeah.
And I think one of the main factors is removing alcohol. Oh, and then sleep automatically improves. All measured. I have data on it.
What about the fun stuff? What about sex?
That's all good too.
Does that get
Yeah,
better?
of course that comes along.
Morning erections improve.
Definitely, yes.
Sex improves.
Yes.
Is it safe to say that almost every aspect of life improves when you reduce or get off alcohol?
I would say all aspects.
Okay, but what about the social elixir
Well-
part? That's the reason why most people drink so much, is that social elixir thing.
Yeah, I mean that is because it's everywhere. I haven't figured that piece out yet. My alcohol is significantly reduced, but not
Give it a
zero.
percentage, quantify it. How much?
It's down 75% from 3 to 5 nights a week socially to 1 or 2.
Okay, and how much alcohol were you consuming 3 to 5 nights a week socially?
Well, okay, don't judge. 2 to 4 was social, and on the week, one night on the weekends was more than that.
Yeah.
Because I was highly functional, I wouldn't look at it as a problem. But looking back, I was highly functional, but the way I feel, the way I interact with people, the way I look at stress at work, all of that is improved without alcohol. I'm not saying it's easy, but your brain does something that you can just deal with it differently in a positive way, in my opinion.
You made a comment today that really struck me about being more comfortable with the social anxiety versus band-aiding it or masking it. Can you say that again? What did you say exactly?
Yeah, when you drink socially for as long as I have, and 2 or 3 beers, any stress from work, kids, family, whatever, that goes away pretty quickly on a regular basis. And when you don't drink for 30 days, about week 1 or 2, you start to figure out that you can't mask the stresses and the normal anxieties that exist. And I wouldn't even have said I had anxiety, but it was there, and I couldn't cover it up with anything because I was committed to the program, and that was enlightening to realize, one, it was there, and once I got used to it, being present with it was better than masking it.
Being present with any anxiety, any
That's
social
correct.
anxiety or work-related anxiety,
That's
being
correct.
present with it in a whole healthy state, rather than being medicated with alcohol, is a better proposition for you now.
Definitely, yes.
Which is an amazing it's an amazing statement to make, and I don't think you're alone. I think most people know subconsciously that they're masking, that they're using it as a band-aid. Now, from a physiology standpoint, what you're actually doing is using a GABA activator, which is one of your primary neurotransmitters for inhibiting or slowing down the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole idea of happy hour being the time to have a drink, slow down, relax. Everyone knows that the feeling of that inner sigh. Halfway through that first beer or first glass of wine, that inside you feel that, all the edges seem to round off. The problem is alcohol is a direct toxin to the myocardium, the muscle of the heart. It's a diuretic, so your electrolytes get off. You're up in the middle of the night peeing. It throws off your sleep architecture. It affects erection quality. People have more creative terms for that, but but almost every aspect of your health is altered for the worse by alcohol. And I'm not a teetotaler. Okay, the reality is you're still having some beers, you're still drinking a bit, but you found a different relationship with this through us sitting here talking about the physiology, that your nervous system's actually thirsty for alcohol because you need more GABA, you need to balance the neurochemistry. But one of the big themes, and I think it's important for you and I to put this out there for other guys, is that there's a timing to being ready, right? As you look back on your journey now, you made a comment to me today, hey, I'm doing the program as you prescribed it to me from the very beginning, but I'm actually doing it now, and I realized that most of the things you were telling me to do were actually the solution. I just wasn't ready. And I'm curious what got you ready beyond just having a scary event in the ER with a blood pressure that could have given you a stroke.
Well, not to sound cliches, but the other thing was once I started to lose the weight, again, I wouldn't consider myself fat or overweight. Once I started to lose the weight, I started to feel better. And that was the real motivator. I'm like, well, how low can I go? How good can I feel? This is the best I felt. I mean, you and I tried a lot of things, and with alcohol in the way, nothing worked. I haven't felt this good in a decade. Any anxiety about a potential incident, which is real with family history, is gone because I'm controlling everything I can control, and the things I can't control, I'm just not going to worry about. And under alcohol, I worried about it all the time. I wouldn't say alcohol caused me to worry. That's just a side effect of not being able to control how I want to run my life. And I'm way better at it today. And like I said, I've never felt this good in a decade. And I've exercised for a long, long time.
I think one of the messages is just try it, please. 1 in 7 working men in America is a high-functioning alcoholic based on the volume of alcohol they consume each week. And it's probably a conservative estimate. And I'm not putting that label on you. I don't know that you are really meeting that criteria. But especially in the Midwest, in America in general, alcohol is everywhere. It's promoted. We use it for celebrations. Again, I enjoy a little wine with dinner. I enjoy sharing a little wine with friends. But if you're a guy who's looking at his overall health, especially as you consider the second half of life, and you go, hey, my energy's not really where I want it to be. I don't like the fact that I don't feel as in control of my nervous system. I've got some background chatter. Erection quality is not as good. I'm having difficulty losing that little band of fat around the belly. Sleep quality is not so great. Little brain fog. If all those signs of aging seem to be accelerating, and you're a guy who is regularly using alcohol for happy hour to wind down at night, all we're saying is take the Rich challenge.
That's right.
Try reducing it for a little bit, and gamify it, right? I mean, get a little win. You felt a little better. You lost a little weight, and then you said, and this is what makes you successful in life, is you go, well, if I got a little win there, what's the next goal I can set for myself?
That's right.
You gamify it, but it will feed back to you. You'll get wins. You'll feel better, and then it's easy to a point.
Yeah.
Final question for you then is, it's easy to a point. You're feeling good, but now you're in a groove. You're 15 pounds lighter, Rich. You're sleeping better, Rich. You're having better sex, Rich. You're not drinking as much alcohol. But COVID's over. We're out having a barbecue, 4th of July, and there will come a time where you're going to have a little bit of a bender. You're going to go 4-6 beers deep. How, in your mind, how are you going to keep from backsliding?
Well, I'm pretty motivated, and I really like the way I feel. So I'm less worried about the single incident. And what I've done is when I'm in a social environment, instead of having the craft beers, which I've always been fond of, I'll go to 64. I'll go to vodka and seltzer on the first one, and then the rest are seltzers. And so I'm going to play the game and be social, and I've got the drink in my hand. But no one knows what I'm doing from a count perspective or anything like that, and that's how I'm monitoring it.
Nice.
I've got this in control. I'm not ready to stop, but I am ready to manage it much differently so that the sleep improves. And that, I don't know if we touched on that, but from a sleep perspective, I think everybody's impacted almost the same, especially men. You drink a bunch, you go to bed, you get up, go to the bathroom, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Your temperature's up, you don't feel that great, and you already know what the night of quality sleep is going to be. Once you remove alcohol, you sleep till 4 or 5, you feel like $1 million. You could get up if you wanted to, you don't have to. And going a decade with the kind of drinking that I did, sleeping till 4 and 5 is a huge win. And part of the process and the journey. So if you want better sleep, I would take a look at this program.
It's so true. And you're using an Oura Ring to monitor yourself. And
Yeah.
You said something that I think is a great place to finish on, which is, and then you say to yourself, I'm doing what I can. You stick with the program, and then you go live and enjoy the heck out of life, right? I mean, you said to me, hey, at this point, the anxiety is going away because I know that I'm doing everything I can. And if you do end up having a cardiac event, you're at peace with it because you feel like you've taken command of your health And even the CDC&P, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, says you have 80% control of your health fate.
That's
80%.
right.
And Rich, I just commend you. I celebrate with you. We're not blowing smoke here. These changes aren't easy. And for the guy who came in and said, I want better health, I want to be able to do what I want to do, but I don't want to make big changes, I think he's speaking for all of us, that we all wish for that. It'd be great, but it isn't reality. And there's something about doing the work and overcoming your inner barriers that pays dividends later and helps contribute to make these changes durable, right?
That's right.
You feel more confident, you're proud of yourself that you made the changes?
No question, yeah. And now the other key piece that didn't come up much is alcohol is a key factor, but once you eliminate or significantly reduce the alcohol, your diet, you've got to get rid of sugar, processed sugars, things out of a box, pizzas. I spent a lot of time on diet, eating plant-based foods and lots of vegetables, which I haven't done in a long time. That combination is the winner. It's reducing alcohol and then fixing your diet. What do you want to give up to feel better? It's in your hands.
Rich, get back here for a second. I want you to say this on camera. All right. So I thought this interview was over, and then Rich, you just made an offer that I was quietly praying for.
Okay.
Which is, you said this is real for men, and you would be willing to what?
I'd be willing to make myself available for somebody to talk to on how did you do it, what did it feel like, what books did you read? Because it's a journey. You don't flip a switch. Men want to fix everything, in the shortest amount of time possible. This is a lifetime change, not the flip of a switch. And so I would make myself available to talk to anybody who would be interested in how I might be able to relate to them, help them, a couple of books to read, how I might see something. I'm not a doctor, but I'm living it. And it took me a couple of years and a couple of incidents to get here. And if I can speed up somebody's journey, I'll gladly do it.
Because you said it's difficult to talk to your spouse. It's difficult to talk to people closest to you sometimes about these things. And would you be willing to tell them your email?
Yeah, definitely. It's RTREESE99 @gmail.com.